She didn't cheat when she got bored. She cheated when she stopped feeling watched. Let me tell you something I've learned coaching men through their worst nightmares. Betrayal doesn't announce itself with lipstick on a collar or late-night phone calls. It whispers through 1,000 tiny moments you convinced yourself meant nothing. By the time you're reading this, you're either worried or you're too late. Either way, I'm going to show you the 7 signs that your wife stopped being loyal to you and why you ignored every single one of them. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. She doesn't hide what she's doing. She just hides who she's become. If you value truth over comfortable lies, hit that like and hype buttons immediately. Subscribe to this channel and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. I want to know where my strongest, most aware men are tuning in tonight. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to make you see what's been sitting in front of your face for months, maybe years. So let me walk you through exactly how comfortable blindness works and why it's killing your marriage right now. The psychology of comfortable blindness. You know what most men tell me when they finally realize what happened? They say the same thing. Everything seemed fine. And that's the problem. You confuse peace with safety. You stopped scanning for emotional drift because the house was quiet, the bills were paid, she still kissed you goodnight. You assumed quiet meant stable. It just meant rehearsed. Think about it. She still tags you in birthday posts. She still asks how your day went. But when's the last time she asked who you had lunch with? When's the last time she wanted to know the details of your life instead of just the logistics? Here's a detail that should chill you. Her best friend knows things about her inner world that you don't even know exist. That woman she texts every morning, she's getting the real story. You're getting the edited version, the one designed to keep everything smooth and quiet. And that's where betrayal begins, in the conversations you never hear. I've sat across from hundreds of men who thought they had solid marriages. They'd tell me about their routines, their shared calendars, their weekend plans. Everything looked perfect on paper. But when I asked them what their wife was anxious about last Tuesday, or what dream she mentioned last month, or what made her cry 2 weeks ago when she thought he wasn't looking, they had no idea. That's comfortable blindness. You're living in the same house with a woman whose inner life has become a mystery to you, and you didn't even notice when it happened. Why wives betray in plain sight? Let me explain something about emotional betrayal that most men don't understand. That's not the main point. It's about attention redistribution. When she feels invisible to you, she starts building an audience somewhere else. And you'll even like her first moves towards someone new. You'll think it's nice that she's making friends at work. You'll be glad she's excited about her Pilates class. You'll appreciate that she's texting her old college friend more often. What you won't see is that she's transferring her emotional energy, the questions, the laughter, the vulnerability, away from you and toward people who make her feel seen. Watch the comment sections on her social media. See that "thanks for helping me push through Monday" under her coworker's gym selfie. That's a private joke you're not part of. That's shared context you didn't build with her. I had a client who showed me his wife's Instagram. She'd commented on another man's post about a book. Not just "looks good," but a full paragraph about themes and characters. My client said he didn't even know she was reading that book, but this other man did. This other man was having the intellectual conversation my client didn't know his wife wanted to have. The signs don't scream. They hum, soft, constant, deadly, and they're happening right now while you're scrolling through your phone at the dinner table, assuming everything is fine. Sign 1. Her energy reverses direction. She used to turn to you for comfort. Now you talk. She checks her phone. She claims she's tired, then laughs on a video call later. Her warmth has a new audience. One client noticed his wife working late online at midnight while her phone stayed face down. Energy doesn't disappear, it shifts. Maybe not to another man yet, but to whoever makes her feel again. Watch where her spark lives now. The quick typing, the hidden smile, the glow that used to be for you. Sign 2. Digital politeness replaces warmth. She still texts, but it's all logistics. Grab milk. Dinner Saturday. No heart, just tasks. You send something tender, she reacts with a heart emoji, nothing more. Formality replaces affection. Okay, instead of okay. Periods instead of emojis. Connection turns mechanical. One man showed me 6 months of text with his wife, pure coordination. But her chats with her best friend, pages of emotion and laughter. The difference wasn't capacity, it was direction. She still connects deeply, just not with you. Sign 3. The gym becomes her refuge. Guilt seeks transformation. That's what I tell every man who tells me his wife suddenly became obsessed with fitness. She's not just training her body, she's rehearsing absence. Look at the pattern. Evening Pilates classes that somehow last 3 hours. Morning runs that keep getting earlier and longer. A new gym membership at a place across town when there's one 5 minutes away. And here's the kicker. Check her fitness app if you can. The class times don't always match what she told you. I had a client who noticed his wife's Spotify playlist changing. Reset mode. Breathing room. Just me. These aren't workout titles. They're emotional states. She's building a life that doesn't include you, and she's literally soundtracking it. The gym becomes the perfect cover because it's self-improvement. How can you question her wanting to be healthier? But watch what else changes. New workout clothes, makeup before morning runs, hair done for a spin class. She's not just working out, she's becoming someone new, and you're watching it happen without realizing you're not invited to know who that person is. Another client found a receipt for a smoothie place near his wife's gym. She went there every Tuesday and Thursday after her class. Nothing wrong with that, except he noticed on her credit card that she was buying 2 smoothies each time. When he asked about it, she said she sometimes got one for her workout buddy. He didn't even know she had a workout buddy. Didn't know the name, the gender, anything. That's when he realized she had built an entire secondary routine, complete with inside jokes and shared habits, and he wasn't part of it. But her body isn't what's leaving first. Her mind already left. Sign 4. Friends start editing stories. Her best friend Sarah mentions a girls' night last week. Funny, your wife never told you about it. When you ask, Sarah's face does that micro-expression thing, that flash of panic before the smile. Oh, I thought you knew. It was super last minute. Except you found out later from a tagged photo that they'd been planning it for 2 weeks. Watch how her friends interact with you now. They're polite, maybe too polite. They edit themselves mid-sentence. We all just ran into each other at that new wine bar. Anyway, how's work? Loyal friends don't cover feelings. They cover timing inconsistencies. Start noticing background details in her friends' social media posts, reflections in windows, timestamps that don't match the story, captions that hint at inside jokes you're not part of. Her friends aren't just keeping her secrets, they're actively managing what you know. And here's what that means. The betrayal has a support system. It's not just her hiding something. It's a whole network of people who've decided you don't need to know the truth, because every good lie comes with a chorus. I worked with a man whose wife's college roommate came to visit. During dinner, she started telling a story about something funny that happened at brunch last month. His wife kicked her under the table. He saw it. The friend quickly changed the subject. Later, he asked his wife about this brunch. She said it was nothing, just a quick thing, not worth mentioning. But the friend's story had included 4 other people and had lasted long enough for something memorable to happen. That's when he understood. His wife had a whole social life he wasn't tracking, and her friends were trained to keep it that way. Sign 5. The over-apology trap. This one's subtle, and it messes men up because it feels like she's trying. Suddenly, she's overly kind. Thank you for being so patient with me. Patient with what? Nothing happened. Nothing you know about, anyway. She leaves notes on the fridge again. Little thank yous, little appreciations. But the handwriting looks practiced, like she's performing gratitude instead of feeling it. She buys you your favorite beer without being asked. She made contact again after months apart. And you think, see, things are getting better. They're not. Over-apologizing is the conscience's last flare before emotional escape. She's trying to balance the scales before she tips them completely. She's giving you these small atonements because it makes her feel less guilty about what she's doing or planning to do behind your back. Watch for the micro changes that come with these apologies. New perfume. Changed passwords for security reasons. A sudden interest in privacy you never needed before. She's preparing for something, and she's trying to soften you up so you don't see it coming. One man told me his wife started cooking his favorite meals 3 nights a week out of nowhere. She hadn't cooked like that in years. She'd leave little love notes in his lunch. She'd ask about his day with what seemed like genuine interest. He thought they'd turned a corner. 2 months later, she told him she wanted a separation. The kindness wasn't a new beginning. It was an apology to her for what she'd already decided. But guilt isn't her strongest signal. It's the next one. Sign 6, the disconnection play. When betrayal gets close to exposure, something shifts. She becomes calmly distant, like she's already decided something you haven't been told about yet. She volunteers for late shifts. She needs quiet to think, and takes 3-hour drives alone with podcasts. She starts spending weekends at her sister's house for no particular reason. And when you ask what's wrong, she says nothing's wrong. She's just processing things. What things? She never quite says. Check her Spotify Wrapped when it comes out. I had a client whose wife's top artists were all bands she'd never mentioned, never played in the house. Guess who introduced her to that music? Not her husband. Here's what's really happening. She's not hiding her distance. She's testing how long you'll let her drift. She's measuring whether you'll fight for her or just accept this new normal where she's barely present. And if you pass that test, if you just let her float away without pulling her back, you've given her permission to finish what she started. I remember one client describing how his wife started going to the library on Sunday afternoons. Every single Sunday for 2 months. She said she needed quiet time to read. He thought it was healthy. But then he drove past the library one Sunday, and her car wasn't there. He didn't confront her. He just started paying attention. The next Sunday, he tracked her location on the phone plan they shared. She was at a coffee shop 40 minutes away. When she came home, he asked how the library was. She said it was good, got a lot of reading done. She lied to his face without hesitation. That's when he knew. She wasn't disconnecting because she needed space from stress. She was disconnecting because she was building something else. And if you pass that test, the final sign hits you like a clean cut. Sign 7, the emotional rewrite. This is the one that ends marriages. She starts rewriting the story of your relationship to justify leaving it. You're having a normal conversation, and she says, I think we've just grown apart, you know. Grown apart. You didn't even know you were growing in different directions. But she's been writing this narrative in her head for months. She's been explaining your marriage to other people, to her therapist, to her friends, to whoever she's emotionally involved with, and the story she's telling is not the one you think you're living. Pay attention to the phrases she uses. We want different things. I need to find myself. I don't think we're compatible anymore. These aren't spontaneous realizations, they're rehearsed conclusions. She's been building this exit story so long that she believes it now. And here's the cruelest part. Her family starts using the same language. Her mum suddenly says things like, sometimes people grow apart when she used to love you. Her sister stops asking about you. They've all heard the rewritten version of your marriage, and they've sided with it. The betrayal was never sudden. It was narrated months in advance, and you were the only one who didn't get to read the script. I've seen this happen dozens of times. A man will come to me confused because his wife just announced she's unhappy. But when I talk to her separately, She'll tell me she's been unhappy for 3 years. She'll have specific examples, dates, moments that changed everything for her. And he won't remember any of them because he wasn't paying attention. But here's what most men never realize until it's over. The real betrayal. You didn't lose her when she cheated, if she even physically cheated at all. You lost her when you stopped observing, when you stopped asking better questions, when you started treating fine as a real answer and silence as peace. The real betrayal is how much you stopped paying attention. You stopped noticing when her laugh changed. You stopped tracking where her mind went when she stared out the window. You stopped competing for her attention because you assumed you already had it. And that's why she told her coworker things she used to whisper to you. That's why her best friend knows her better than you do. That's why another man, or even just the idea of another life, started looking like relief to her. Every single sign I've shown you was visible, not hidden, not encoded, just ignored. You saw her energy shift and called it a mood. You saw her distance and called it space. You saw her building a separate life and called it hobbies. I want you to understand something important. The moment she stopped feeling watched by you, really watched, really seen, was the moment she became available to someone else's attention. Not because she's a bad person, not because she planned to betray you, but because human beings need to be witnessed. We need someone to notice when we change our hair, when we're quieter than usual, when something's weighing on us. And when you stopped being that person for her, she found someone who would be. But there's one final truth you need to hear before you close this. The unforgettable truth. A wife's betrayal doesn't start with another man. It starts the day she realizes her husband stopped noticing her. It starts when she waves, and you don't wave back. When she tells you something important, and you respond without looking up from your phone. When she reaches for you in the middle of the night, and you roll over because you're tired. Every missed sign I've shown you had one thing in common. It was visible to anyone who knew what to look for. Her friends saw it. Her coworkers saw it. Everyone around you saw your wife disappearing except you, because you stopped looking at her like someone you could lose. So here's what you do now. You look. Actually look at her. Ask questions that matter. Notice when she stops answering them. Pay attention to where her energy flows. Track the small shifts before they become chasms. Because if you're reading this and you recognize even 3 of these signs, you're not at the beginning of this story. You're somewhere in the middle, and the ending is being written right now, with or without your input. The woman you married is still there, but she's checking to see if you still care enough to notice her. And if you don't start now, someone else will. Marriage doesn't end from one big explosion. It fades from 1,000 small moments of neglect. From assuming she'll always be there. From treating her presence as guaranteed instead of earned every single day. The signs are always there. The question is whether you're still watching closely enough to see them before they become the story of how you lost her.